The Indonesian jungle is thick, humid, and alive with scents and sounds. Every step into its depths is a step into a world that feels both ancient and mysterious, where the air itself seems to pulse with life. The canopy above is a living ceiling, filtering sunlight into shifting patterns on the forest floor, and the calls of unseen creatures echo all around. I came here to test myself against nature's raw power, to see if I could match the endurance and adaptability of the wild. The jungle is a place where every sense is heightened, where you quickly learn that survival depends on respect, patience, and humility. The villagers, wise and weathered from generations of living alongside the jungle, welcomed me with open arms. At night we gathered around flickering campfires and they shared stories passed down through centuries. Tales of spirits that protect the forest, and, most of all, of snakes that command both fear and reverence. One name always brought a hush, whispers would fade and faces would grow serious at the mention of the Inland Taipan. Even the bravest among them showed a deep, almost instinctive respect for this elusive serpent. Its venom, they said, could kill 100 men with a single bite. The Inland Taipan is rarely seen, but its reputation is legendary. It moves like a shadow, silent and swift, blending perfectly with the undergrowth. To the villagers, it is not just a snake, it is a force of nature, a reminder of the jungle's unpredictable power. These weren't just stories, they were survival lessons, warnings woven into the fabric of daily life. The elders taught the young how to read the signs of the forest, how to recognize the subtle tracks and sounds that might mean danger is near. The villagers taught me to respect the jungle, to move softly, and to always watch the ground. Every footstep had to be deliberate, every movement calculated. In this place, carelessness could mean disaster. Their warnings about the taipan stayed with me, echoing in my mind with every rustle in the leaves or sudden silence in the trees. I realized that fear here was not weakness, but wisdom. Before my solo trek, an elder named Budi pulled me aside. His eyes were steady, his voice low, as if sharing a secret that could save my life. "The jungle does not hate or love you," he said, "show it respect." His words carried the weight of experience, a reminder that the forest is neither friend nor foe, it simply is. The most dangerous animals, like the taipan, don't hunt humans. They strike when surprised. Move slowly, be predictable. Let your presence be known but never arrogant. The jungle rewards those who listen and punishes those who ignore its warnings. Let the jungle know you're a guest, not a threat. Every action, every breath should signal respect for the life that surrounds you. Only then can you hope to pass through unharmed. Those words became my mantra, a lifeline I'd soon need. In the heart of the jungle, with the legends of the Inland Taipan echoing in my mind, I understood that survival was not about conquering nature, but about learning to coexist with its mysteries. The day began like any other, misty, hot, and alive with jungle noise. I was searching for water, focused on survival. In a sunlit clearing, a mossy log blocked my path. I stepped left and suddenly the jungle fell silent. Instinct froze me mid-step. My eyes scanned the ground and there it was. Coiled near the log, nearly invisible, was the Inland Taipan. It radiated menace, perfectly still, blending with the leaves. The silence was nature's warning. I'd nearly stepped on the deadliest land snake on Earth. We were locked in a standoff, time stretching painfully. My heart pounded as the villagers' stories echoed in my mind. I realized I was in real danger. One wrong move could be my last. In that frozen moment, my mind raced. I was the intruder, the snake was defending its ground. The only command in my mind, do not move. Any sudden action could trigger a strike. Fear sharpened my senses. Every detail became vivid. I saw the snake's scales, the glint of moisture, the insects on the log. I felt my own vulnerability. Out here, I was just another animal. The taipan held all the power. My only weapon was my mind. Stay calm, think clearly, respect the snake. I had to prove I wasn't a threat. Determination pushed back against fear. I'd survived other wild places. This was another test. Control fear, control my body, wait for the right moment. The standoff was a deadly chess match. I was determined not to lose. The snake was a masterpiece. 5 feet of slender, olive-brown muscle. Its scales blended perfectly with the jungle floor. Its head, coffin-shaped, was raised in a classic pre-strike S-curve. Its eyes were dark, cold, and focused. No malice, just survival. The forked tongue flickered, tasting the air, analyzing me. This was no mindless beast, but a calculating survivor. Its stillness was more intimidating than any threat display. It radiated quiet confidence, knowing it had the advantage. I was staring at lethal perfection. My life depended on not provoking it. Every second felt like an eternity. My first move was to do nothing. In that moment, every instinct screamed at me to run, to bolt through the undergrowth and put as much distance as possible between myself and the threat. But I knew that sudden movement could trigger a deadly reaction. So I forced myself to remain absolutely still, heart pounding in my chest, every muscle tensed and ready, but unmoving. I slowed my breathing, signaling calm, not fear. Each inhale was measured, each exhale deliberate, as if I could convince both myself and the creature before me that I was not a threat. The air was thick and humid, but I focused on the rhythm of my breath, grounding myself in the present. After a tense minute that felt like an eternity, I began my retreat. Painfully slow, deliberate. Every second stretched out, my senses heightened to every sound and movement around me. I lowered my foot inch by inch, watching for any sign of aggression. The ground beneath me was uneven, roots and leaves threatening to betray my presence with a snap or a rustle. The snake stayed still, watching me, its unblinking eyes locked onto mine, tongue flickering in and out, tasting the air for any hint of danger. I shifted my weight, took a slow step back. My entire body was alert, every nerve on edge as I tried to maintain the delicate balance between caution and progress. Every movement was glacial, muscles burning with tension. My legs trembled slightly, not from weakness, but from the sheer effort of moving so slowly, so precisely. Sweat dripped, but I didn't dare wipe it away. Even the smallest gesture could be misinterpreted as aggression or panic, and I couldn't afford that risk. Step by step, I increased the distance. Each retreating motion was a calculated risk, a silent plea for the snake to let me go unharmed. I angled my body away, avoided direct eye contact. I knew that in the wild, a stare could be seen as a challenge, and I wanted only to disappear, to become invisible. My focus was absolute, no sudden moves, no mistakes. I was hyper-aware of every sensation, the brush of air on my skin, the distant calls of birds, the faint rustle of leaves. I mimicked the slow sway of a branch trying to appear natural. I let my body move with the breeze, hoping to blend in, to become just another part of the jungle. It was a silent negotiation for my life. Neither of us moved with intent to attack, but both were ready for anything. Each inch gained was a victory. Every bit of ground I put between myself and the snake felt like a small triumph, a testament to patience and control. I was backing away, one careful step at a time. In that moment, survival wasn't about strength or speed. It was about composure, restraint, and the will to outlast the danger, no matter how long it took. As I retreated, Booty's words echoed in my mind. "Let the jungle know you are a guest." It was a simple phrase, but it carried the weight of generations who had learned to survive in this wild, unpredictable place. The jungle to them was not just a backdrop or a resource to be exploited, it was a living, breathing entity, deserving of respect and humility. The villagers saw the jungle as a place to coexist, not conquer. Every path they walked, every tree they passed was treated with a quiet reverence. They moved with intention, always aware that they were sharing space with countless unseen lives. Some dangerous, some benign, all deserving of their place. Their advice was about avoiding confrontation, not fighting. They believed that wisdom lay in knowing when to step back, when to yield, and when to simply observe. The jungle, after all, was not a place for bravado or reckless courage. Tapping a stick to warn snakes, simple, effective, I'd forgotten in my haste. That rhythmic sound was a language the jungle understood, a gentle announcement of presence that gave both man and animal a chance to avoid disaster. Their folklore said snakes have proud spirits, panic is disrespect, calm is respect. In their stories, snakes were never just threats, they were guardians, teachers, and sometimes omens. To panic was to insult the spirit of the jungle itself. This wisdom was rooted in animal behavior. The villagers had spent lifetimes watching, learning, and adapting. They understood that animals, like people, responded to energy. Fear bred aggression, but calmness could diffuse even the most dangerous encounter. Booty's story of his grandfather kneeling before a cobra taught humility. It was a gesture of surrender, a way of saying, "I am not your enemy." That act, passed down through generations, was a lesson in the power of humility over force. My slow steps were my way of yielding, acknowledging the Taipan's dominance. Each careful movement was a silent agreement. I would not challenge, I would not provoke. I was a guest, and I needed to act like one. Without this local wisdom, instinct might have doomed me. My first reaction was fear. but fear alone would have led me to make mistakes, rash decisions that could have ended in tragedy. The villagers knew, the best way to win with a deadly snake is not to fight. They watched, waited, and let the animal choose its path. Sometimes survival meant simply stepping aside and letting nature take its course, show respect, de-escalate, and survive. These were not just survival tactics, but a philosophy, a way of living in harmony with the wild, rather than in constant battle against it. Their teachings were a guide to the wild. Every lesson, every story, was a thread in the fabric of their survival, a code of conduct that had kept them safe for generations. That code was keeping me alive. In the heart of the jungle, surrounded by danger and beauty, I realized that survival was not about domination, but about respect, humility, and learning from those who knew the land best. The retreat felt endless, each step a test of control. The distance grew, 6 feet, 7, 8. The snake watched, still coiled, but didn't escalate. My strategy was working. When I reached 15 feet, the snake's posture relaxed slightly. Relief washed over me, but I kept moving. I backed away until a banyan tree blocked the view. Only then did I speed up, using the trunk as a barrier. I didn't run. Running in the jungle is dangerous. I walked briskly, putting distance between me and the clearing. The jungle's sounds slowly returned, my heart hammered, legs shaky from adrenaline. I didn't stop until I found a stream, splashed water on my face, and sat down. I had survived. By the stream, exhaustion and gratitude washed over me. I'd been closer to death than ever before. The experience left a mental scar, a reminder of nature's power. I'd been careless and nearly paid the price. The jungle demands full attention and respect. The greatest lesson respect for nature is a survival strategy. Local wisdom like booties is invaluable. That encounter changed how I move through the wild, more patient, more observant. I now listen to silences, walk softly, and announce my presence. Facing the taipan didn't make me fearful but more connected to nature. I survived not through force but understanding. Even now I remember that clearing, not as a nightmare but as a lesson. The ultimate survival tool is a calm mind and a respectful heart.